it's Shani with Healing Elements. How are you? Once again, welcoming you to my channel. This is being added to the spirit animal playlist, and this is all about the spirit animal of the squirrel. The squirrel spirit animal and essence I'll be breaking down with my interpretation, certain traits, the mannerisms of the animal itself, etc. So guys, thank you again for joining me. What up? I am healing. Hope you're doing the same. If you need any healing, I think we all do, emotionally, physically, and spiritually in some sense at all times, at least maintaining. And if you're in a spot that is uncomfortable, fight through it. This is hard out there. I welcome you and appreciate that you took time in this environment and whatever you're dealing with, good or bad, to jump in and check out Healing Elements and stop by my page. So the squirrel spirit animal. This is all about the spirit animal of the squirrel. So this is a very finicky, anxious energy. So if you can relate, this is somewhat of an anxiety-ridden energy, very finicky, always hyper vigilant. So I think a big meaning to me with this spirit animal of the squirrel, there are pros and cons to everything, and I think this speaks volumes of that dichotomy between the fear, fight, or flight. It's sometimes necessary to have a hypervigilant outlook, to be concerned, to be worried. Now, of course, with anything, I think, here we go with my problem in the past, moderating things is the key in finding a balance. I think that's so key in everything that we talk about, especially here, finding a balance of being too paranoid and being too naive, to not see what is before you and not planning ahead. So when we talk about the squirrel spirit animal, we talk about planning and preparedness, the finicky, fussy, almost like a doomsday, but in a good way. Someone, if you resonate with the squirrel spirit animal, that is looking 10 steps ahead of the 10 steps ahead you already looked at, right? This is thinking ahead on a very structured and vigilant level. So vigilance, I think, is also something I would tie in with the squirrel spirit animal. Being vigilant with your territory, meeting your family, meeting what you protect. The squirrel in nature, they protect and are very vigilant as to their territory, where they are burying their loot, their nuts, right? So I think that this attitude of being, hypervigilant, protecting what their borders are. So if that can be put into a metaphor for a personality, if you resonate with the squirrel spirit animal energy, or you want to work with it, this is talking about having provisions, having boundaries, and being very aggressive and hypervigilant on not having them cross. And that's a beautiful trait. I think everyone can work with it if you have trouble, if you're a people pleaser like I have been my entire life, learning to set boundaries in general can be sometimes a problem for some people. So if you resonate with this energy, this squirrel spirit animal, this is about no holds barred warrior style protection of the boundaries and the integrity of keeping those boundaries and the provisions that you have, meaning material items or things that truly keep you sustained for the long haul, like planning out, putting your ducks in a row, putting down your foot, putting your foot down, being aggressive, being assertive as to, no, I'm sorry, you can't take what I have, you can't borrow anything, I need to have this for this set date. So this spirit animal energy is definitely one that can be stingy, not greedy. It's a stinginess that has to do with logic of preparedness and understanding the provisions that are needed in the future when times can be scarce. Things can be scarce that you're preparing for and bunching up, like the squirrel prepares for winter and buries all kinds of nuts. That, in the negative sense, of course, when we talk about, again, the balance and finding moderation in these characteristics and traits and energies we can work with, I think the squirrel spirit speaks of, because they definitely hoard. So Doomsdayers are known to sometimes hoard, go, when the COVID thing happened, go and get a whole bunch of, you know, trucks full of toilet paper or canned goods. And that, again, could be beautiful, of course. Have, something, canned goods, have emergency supplies, have water, have, something that is going to sustain you on board, but not to the effect of what it caused, you know, pretty much the supply chain during COVID to break down in some sense, because people were hoarding, things were messed up in the transit for, supply and demand, and in logistics, getting the supplies here and there, it went into the negative, where we could say the lack of moderation from some people, the doomsdayers trying to get so much supply into supply into their own hands and keeping it for a rainy day. There comes to a point where there's too much and it could be wasted. It makes me think about all the, which we could use them in the future, but all the underground nuclear bunkers that are like obsolete, that they take tours and it's like from the 60s, and nothing has ever been done with these multi-billion-dollar structures. Again, could be in the use for the future, hopefully not for anything. But that being said, that was being done at the time and taking away from a budget at the time where people needed money for other things, and they were convinced that it was going to happen. Again, that's in a different, a different universe, in a different timeline branch. I'm sure that's being used perhaps positively. This is the spirit of the squirrel, though, so we'll keep on track and talk about how it can be, again, stingy or considered frugal, this energy. So the spirit animal of the squirrel is all about having enough provisions, preparing to the point of having a plan A, backup plan B, C, D, all down the line until there, is so much thought and vigilance, hypervigilance that goes into the decision making for the future, that there is a sense of being all set for the times that, again, are hard. So when we talk about, saving resources, that is another energy that ties into the spirit of the squirrel. Saving what we have worked for very hard, because it's not easy to go and gather these provisions, while the squirrel gathering things and going about its business where there are predators, and trying to maintain a, I guess a safety of the provisions, therefore burying them without people seeing, so that they can have that for, again, what they need. So very territorial, this fits a certain guise of independence, to the point of, if you resonate with the spirit of the squirrel, you prefer to completely be on your own. It kind of maybe irritates you. You have a lot of time that you are spending alone because of, irritants. You would rather do it yourself. It's that energy of very, very anxious. If I can't do it myself, I feel like it's not going to be done properly, so I might as well just do it for myself. It fits a, certain kind of narrative of being discontented if somebody else does something, because you're so finicky or picky, or, again, very over excitable regarding the way things should be done and prepared, that it almost stresses you out more to have somebody else do something. So the squirrel is very independent, very territorial, all work, no time for play attitude. So workaholics, shout out, respect for anything that you do. If you're a workaholic, or you're considered to be someone who is not making use of your time in someone else's opinion, shout out to you. You're in the right place in the right time at all times, and I bless you. I love you. So this is a personal space type of protection that is, again, very aggressive. It fits this narrative of being completely solitary, again, rather than communal. So social anxiety, I think, is an energy that fits into this, dreading being a part of group activities. It reminds me of just feeling an invasive or intrusive feeling at all times if you are around a group feeling not, again, it can be, if not in moderation with this energy, it can be paranoia of, oh, they're trying to take what I have, or feeling as if there is a mistrust continually. And this doesn't have to be in the human world based on past trauma. This is just a natural energy if you relate. So, you prefer to, again, stick to your own processes and your self engineered cleverness. So these systems that you may have, just like the squirrel has systems of traveling, what man makes, like the telephone poles or the trees, or just making use of any kind of provisions or environment that they have. I think that this talks about an ingenuity behind it. You can get things done with this, mind that is very clever. It's self-engineered toward sustaining your own and your own children, or your own, nest or family, your own small unit with nothing else around you as far as advice or input. This is like a self-engineered, like a self-starter. So if you're a self-starter, if you're an entrepreneur, someone that is completely excitable, has so much energy, right? Is a very, very, like, I've been told my whole life, slow down and breathe, right? It's like someone who is completely on edge, but on the precipice of making action into something that is tangible and making good things out of that. So, knowing what is ahead of you, seeing ahead, being prepared, I think, again, with an innovation to how you prepare with supplies and how you prepare for the future in very material ways, right? Things that you can see. I think that, about the importance of security if you resonate with this spirit animal. The squirrel knows about the importance of security, and what security means is not just worrying about the here and now. Security for the future is very important, and preparing and planning accordingly. So, an abundance and having an abundance is definitely affiliated with the squirrel spirit animal, but it is, again, bordering on the, do I have too much that I'm not sharing with people because I'm so worried that it's going to all go to waste? Sort of like the person who gets the purse but keeps it in the closet inside of a purse, right? Never uses it, just says, oh, that's my special purse, I'm going to use it one day. Much respect, but that's the energy. It's not a bad thing. That's the energy when it comes to squirrel, squirrel spirit animal. Also, defying gravity, being very aerobic, right? This is an agile energy when we talk about the squirrel, like walking again on the man-made wires, the electric wires in the trees, and being able to scale, climb anything, side of the rooftop, you name it, leaping. So if we metaphorically put that into context with life, it's, you are very, again, energetic and excitable, but able to shimmy and make left and right turns throughout your path of your life and pathways within your lifetime, that you avoid trouble. You can make quick decisions. This is something of an energy that is not a procrastinator. It's no debate. Boom, you go. Right. Speaking of, if you see my video of Carl from Up, squirrel. Right, this is an energy that is self-sufficient, finicky and stuck in your ways. The same patterns that you have and same areas that you like to, quote unquote, metaphorically bury your food, right, your provisions in, you like to stick to. You're able to jump, though, and leap into new situations. So that's something very obviously of an oxymoron, but you are able to make use of your environment, but prefer to stick to habitual patterns that have worked in the past, if that makes sense. So, your ingenuity is on point. You can do it less time, so you're able to do double the work very fast, prepared. Again, workaholic. Prefer this attitude of all work, no play. Anyways, it's not alive, so we can cut that out probably. There is a laser vision focus. I'm doing the squirrel spirit animal, babe. Squirrel. I just did that. We're going to wrap it up. Assertive in holding down territory and independence is all about the squirrel spirit. So thanks so much, you guys. Very, very appreciative. And I thank you very much. Blessings, love, and light.